Hey, you're listening to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoke Meat is brought to you by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, and the bottom of the Lamar Building. I tell you, Jeremy and the gang make you feel like you're at home every time you go down there. So make sure you go. And they got great food, great drinks, great people. Just such a great place. You have such a wonderful time at Joe's. Remember, I goes to Joe's, and so should you. That's Joe's Underground, the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. Today, my guest is Curta Schlarbaum. Curta has done a movie that is just a pretty damn good movie. It's a nice, inspirational movie. It's called For the Love of Jessie. And we're going to get this beast kicked off a little bit here on Smoked Meat. So, how you doing today, Curta?
I am doing great, Brad. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I've been excited about this.
Well, it's pretty exciting for me too. It really and truly is.
Yeah, I've had so many new guests lately, and just it's been so great. I'm meeting so many great people, and you're on that list now.
Well, thank you. I'm actually a newbie to all of this. I mean, this was my first attempt at writing a movie and producing, and so it's been quite an experience.
Oh, I bet it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, it has been. It really has been.
Yeah, because I've got an idea for a movie I'm wanting to do, and just the mechanical part of sitting down and writing it and fleshing it out is so hard, and you've done
it. That's just what you have to do. The story for The Love of Jessie was a story in my head for years. I worked for an OBGYN for over 20 years, and I had seen pretty much everything when it came to moms and delivering babies and all the joys and all that. But this was something that was in my head. I had talked to the doctor I worked for about it, and I thought, oh, what the heck? I'm going to write a story. And so that's what I did. I wrote the story, and I pitched it to a director in California, and he said, "Oh, that's really cheesy." Mm-hmm. And I was like heartbroken, And then I had the good luck to meet a gentleman by the name of David McAbee. We were doing a pilot together, and I pitched the story to him, and he said, "Let's write a script." Mm-hmm. And we wrote together for 18 months, him in California, me in Arizona. And that's how it got started. So if you want to do it, you just got to do it.
Man. Yeah, that is awesome. And, doing the OB thing, that is a specialty unto itself. I've delivered 18 babies.
Yes. Yes. And it's every birth is different.
Yeah.
Without giving the storyline away, we have two mothers that both are pregnant, have the same due date, and coincidentally wind up having their babies on the same day in the movie, but two different outcomes. And one of the things that I, came across in writing it was what would cause a mother to die. Now, I'm sure you know from being a paramedic, mothers dying is pretty rare these days because the medicine is so good and so technologically advanced. It just doesn't happen much. But there's one condition, it's called an amniotic embolism, and it's always fatal. And that was the premise of one of my characters, how she winds up dying. So it was sad. It was a very sad situation. Two women having their babies in the same night and two different outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing this. Like I told you a while ago, me and my wife and kids, I think, are going to sit down and watch it tonight because, I'm always looking for something new.
Yeah, well, even though it may sound a little that particular part of it is very sad. Uh, it it'll make you cry, it'll make you laugh, and then it's got a wonderful happy ending. And I am just so proud of the movie. One of the things that I really wanted when we first started writing was I said to David Maccabee, I want a movie my grandchildren can see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have triplet granddaughters, and they're 16 years old right now. But I wanted it to be at least a PG-13 movie,
mm-hmm.
which I'm proud to say it is. You won't hear one cuss word. You won't see any. I want to say you won't see blood, but you will because there is an emergency scene. But you're not going to see the violence and the the things that make you cringe.
Yeah.
It's just not there.
Yeah. Well, very cool. And I know the only movie making experience I've had, and I've been an extra in a few things in my younger years,
uh-huh.
and I've made some videos here at home that I put on my YouTube channel, but it was just me, and I could imagine, okay, this is my first time making a movie. Let's go on ahead and I'm going to produce this.
Yeah.
I could imagine, because like I say, just the little videos I do, it takes just a lot of stuff to even put that together.
Oh,
and here all of a sudden you got a feature-length film.
Absolutely. And we David and I, David's a very experienced guy in the industry, and he's done some great stuff. But me, I'm like you, for years and years I worked as an extra.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always, once in a while I got to be featured, but most of the time I was background. And you know what it's like to be an extra sitting on sets for hours and in hold. And so when I wrote this movie, when we got ready to make it, one of the things I wanted to make sure was that all of my extras were taken care of really well.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure they got the same food the principals got, and that they got to sit down and eat with the principals, and that they were treated like royalty, and they were. You can't make a movie without an extra. You know that, Brad.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny when you mention the differences in the food. The first one I was in was Fled with Lawrence Fishburne and Stephen Baldwin. And
yeah.
We were in the middle of a field in Covington, Georgia, doing a prison break scene and all that. And we were the standby ambulance there. And the way I got in it was, they said, we need a paramedic. I'm like, okay, cool. I went over there, and next thing you know, I'm a foot away from Ken Jenkins zipping up a body bag. And then I'm in the background about 10 feet away while everybody's talking to somebody else. And it just
very cool.
It was very cool. And the first day, they had the big tent set up there for everybody to eat, and we started to go in. They said, well, that's for the crew. Said, y'all need to come around here and y'all eat with the cast. And where the crew was getting like hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff, we went over to the little catering trailer, and while I was waiting on my ribeye to cook to perfection, I might add, I was standing at a table eating the biggest prawns that I have ever eaten in my life. I'm eating like this in the middle of a field, and I'm eating with the big people, and there is a difference.
Oh, I can remember my very first time as an extra. It was on the Mike and Molly show on CBS, and the extras got peanut butter sandwiches, no jelly, just peanut butter and water.
Man.
And that was it. And it was just bizarre. It's like these people worked so hard, and I just couldn't understand that. And, of course, I was non-union, so if you're a non-union extra, you pretty much, it's pretty bad, And once I got into the union, and then like you, because I was involved in the medical industry, and I'm also an ultrasound technician, I was able to get better parts. I've done ultrasounds on lots of shows, on the actors, and so being in the union was a real advantage. But like I said, when we made For the Love of Jessie, one of the first things was our extras were going to be treated well. And what's notable is you never see extras in the credits.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Every single extra is in our credits at the end of the movie. Even the ones that didn't make the cut, their names are in the credits.
Oh, that's awesome.
So anybody that was associated with the movie in any way, whether they were, supplied a location or whether they helped with permits or whatever they did, they were in the credits. So I just wanted to show my appreciation because, you don't make a movie by yourself. It takes tons of people.
Yeah.
And, you may not think about it, but it really means a lot to people when they're sitting there in the movie and they know that they were involved, maybe not featured on the screen, to see their name on the credits. That really tickles them. So
yeah, that's a big deal.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad we were able to do that. Not to mention, we filmed in Wickenburg, Arizona, which is the town that I live in, and the whole town was just so welcoming and just they were just wonderful. So pretty much most of all our extras were the locals of Wickenburg.
Very cool.
Yeah, it really was. And I'm just, like I said, so proud of it. But we had our problems in the very beginning. First of all, we were an independent film, very low budget. And, I cleaned out my piggy bank. I'm still trying to recoup it. But we had so many of the people in the community who were so generous that, gave us their time, gave us their services. It was just wonderful. And when you see the movie, you don't think to yourself, ooh, what a cheap movie. You think, wow. Besides the fact that the cinematography is just beautiful. David C. Smith, who is a renowned cinematographer, was the director of photography. He did a phenomenal job. And his first cameraman, Drew Supa, this guy, he did some incredible work. So, and we had a fairly young cast and crew, and they just gave 110%. It was wonderful. We shot the whole movie in less than a month.
Nice.
But it was just about every day. It was tough. But boy, you'll see it. It's a really pretty movie. Visually beautiful and believable, and the characters are just. I love the characters. I really do. And the actors in it are just wonderful. I don't know. Did you happen to know anything about the history before we shot it?
I
don't
not.
know if you'd heard anything. I don't know if you've ever heard of the actor Blake Heron. When you were young, did you see the movie Shiloh?
Yeah.
Well, Blake Heron was the boy.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, obviously, he grew up to be a fine actor. But unfortunately, he was typecast as either a bad guy, a criminal, a druggie, drug pusher, you name it.
Oh yeah.
But I had the good fortune to work with him, and instantly we became friends. And he was also friends with our director, David Maccabee. And so we decided we wanted Blake to be our main character. Hold on one second. I got a frog in my throat.
It happens.
And you said you would be the one to be coughing. Okay.
I have been. I just turned my mic down.
So Blake agreed to play the main character, the young doctor, because he wanted to do something different. this character called for someone to be a father, a husband, and a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So he was going to get to wear all these different hats in the movie, and he was really excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, about no, not quite 2 months before we started to shoot, Blake died.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was the saddest thing, and of course he was young. He was in his mid-30s, and we were just devastated. We loved Blake, and it came as a big shock. So we kind of, at that point, looked at each other and said, "What are we going to do? Should we just chuck it and forget about it, or try to find somebody else?" Well, obviously, we found someone else.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing that happened was we have a barrel racing scene, and the horse that we had chosen to do the scene happened to be my daughter's barrel horse, Texas,
mm-hmm.
who is just this phenomenal creature. He had been in many magazine spreads, and he had been in the Shanghai Nights movie with Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan rode him on the show of the Jay Leno show, and rode him on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 weeks before we began shooting, he got in an accident and he had to be put down.
Oh man.
So that was a crushing experience, because not only did we lose our horse to the movie, we lost a family member.
Yeah.
Because he had been with us since my daughter was 9 and he was 9, and he was in his early 20s when this happened. And so we had to try to find another barrel horse. And then right before we were going to shoot, David McAbee, the director, got in a motorcycle accident and broke his arm.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so we're kind of scratching our head. Do you think we should make this movie?
Yeah,
we're not starting out too good.
Yeah, people talk about the curse of poltergeist.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah, for sure. And we're just like, and you know, when we first started, we weren't quite sure how things were going to go, because the majority of the cast, the crew, had been very close to Blake.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was kind of an underlying sadness and anger. And this poor Randy Wayne, who wound up taking Blake's place, he had big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And he wound up just hitting it out of the ball field. He was fantastic and has become a very good friend of mine and David's, and he did a beautiful job.
Mm-hmm.
And so it worked out well, but we had our moments on the set when we all felt we felt his presence and we felt his absence, and we had mixed emotions.
Yeah. I can imagine. That would be rough, because I know doing those things, people get close because you've got to. And
oh, you do.
If you don't have chemistry with who you're on screen with, you can be a great actor, but people are going to be able to tell, and it's not going to be the same.
And Randy, well, at first Blake and our leading lady, Mandala Rose, who is a new up-and-coming, fantastic actor. She's from Australia,
mm-hmm.
and she and Blake just had such magnetism going on between them, and we were a bit worried how it would be between her and Randy, but it was great. It just turned out beautiful. And then, of course, we had Adrienne Barbeau, who is just magnificent. Oh, she was, I can't even say enough about this woman and how impressive she is.
Oh, yeah.
As an actor.
Yeah, she's been in everything.
Oh, yeah. She's kind of the scream queen. Her and Jamie Lee Curtis
mm-hmm.
kind of run neck and neck there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a wonderful, wonderful performer and a lovely, lovely lady. I felt so privileged to get to know her on a personal level, and I was when she first came into my home, because we filmed most of it at our ranch.
Mm-hmm.
I was starstruck,
Yeah.
and when she came in the house, I'm like, "Oh, Miss Barbeau, can I get you anything?" And right off, she's like, "No, I'm not Miss Barbeau. I'm Adrienne. And if you don't mind, I'm going to be getting into your refrigerator without asking you." She was great. She was just made herself at home. Everybody on the set loved her. She always had time to talk to everybody, including extras,
Mm-hmm.
which, if you're on a set as an extra, it's an absolute no-no to talk to a principal actor.
Mm-hmm.
And she just went around and talked to everybody and showed interest in everything that was going on. She was wonderful.
Yeah, and it's funny the relationship between extras and principals. When we were on Fled, we were kind of in that nice little area where we got to deal with everybody because we were there to help them if they got hurt.
Right.
And I don't know if he even remembers it or not. He probably don't. But a story I like to tell, Lawrence Fishburne, I think he still owes me a pack of cigarettes. Because he couldn't carry anything in his pockets of his jumpsuit because it's the movie, you don't want the big old cigarette bowls popping out of your pockets and all. And it'd be between takes or whatever and be like, "Yo, man, let me bum a square." Like, there you go.
Yeah.
That was just so cool. Because he'd stand there and he'd talk to me while he smoked. And
yeah. Well, that's, I think, one of the misconceptions about people in the movie industry. Hey, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Even though there are divas, both male and female in the industry, who get big-headed and full of themselves, and yet, it's kind of a two-sided thing. Whereas, fans can either be, great, supportive. You can't make a movie and it be successful without fans. But then there are some of them that carry it to an extreme, and they're intrusive, and they go over the line when it comes to being a fan.
Yeah.
But I know, like with Adrienne, I kind of was in the Lucille Ball category, just always wanting to be with this. This is a star. This is a real star.
Mm-hmm.
But if you spend time with her, you find out that she's just so down to earth.
Yeah.
And just the kindest lady. We were really privileged to have her on the set, and she did a beautiful job with her character. Just you hated her because she was so obnoxious and so intrusive and so mean.
Mm-hmm.
So she did a great job of playing her part. She really did.
Yeah, that's the neat thing about dealing with stars and famous people. When I started this show, my first interview was a friend of mine who I'm working with in comedy, and I did a lot of solo shows, and I started meeting people and got some people sent to me that I got to interview. And at first, I did my radio voice, like the canned interview, like, "So, Curta, what are you into today?" And that's garbage. I can't do it like that. And I was so scared that I was going to be the fanboy on a lot of these things because a lot of these people I've known and I've followed, and I'm like, holy crap. And just this style works so much better for me because we can just talk. We're people. I'm on the phone with a complete stranger, but I don't feel like you're a complete stranger.
Right,
and
right.
That works for me because once you get past all the glitz and glamour and all that good stuff, and everybody's a person. Like I say, everybody puts their pants on the same way.
Yes, and everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
An interesting story. That's what is so wonderful about being able to meet new people and talk with them, and especially in the industry, every producer, we all want to talk about our projects. We want to tell everybody how good it is, and when you have interviewers like you that allow us to tell the story and don't spend the whole time asking silly questions or if you could be in a movie, what would it be? I don't know. It would be my movie that I was in.
Yeah.
Or if you could work with a certain actor, who would it be?
Yeah.
I got asked that question. I had no idea, and I probably gave what they thought was the stupidest answer. It was funny. They asked if I had a choice, what actor and what show would I want to work on, and I'm like, okay, how about James Arness on Gunsmoke?
I can respect that, though. I can respect it.
Yeah, you bet. I loved Gunsmoke. I was raised on Gunsmoke
Oh,
and Miss
yeah.
Kitty, you know. But yeah, when you get a chance to talk about your project, it means a lot, and I'm so proud of this because it's good entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always kind of scratching my head, especially now that we're pretty much at home a lot,
Yeah.
and we're going through the channels, and we're trying to find something that's entertaining, something that's not brain surgery, something that's not going to leave you feeling depressed and down. I mean, we've done it all the time. Well, my husband and I will look at each other and we'll go, well, that was entertaining,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And For the Love of Jessie is just that. It's a feel-good movie, and it has a lot of lessons about life. And the one thing that we all have to deal with, unfortunately, is death,
Mm-hmm.
and how we deal with death and forgiveness and trying to survive. It is a lesson for all of us, but it's how we deal with it, how we come out of it, and that's a lot about the movie. It's a movie that like I said, I feel very comfortable. My young teenage granddaughter seeing. I have friends whose children have seen it, and it's probably not a little kid movie because a little kid probably wouldn't be interested. But it's definitely 13 and over. They'll get it. They'll definitely get it.
Very
And
cool.
one of the nice things when we had a premiere here in Wickenburg, Arizona, and the first thing that the people came up to us and said was how refreshing it was to see a movie that was clean and no violence and no vulgarity, and that meant a lot. That meant a lot.
Yeah. It does. I mean, it goes a long way. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't watch movies with all that in it because I'm almost 50-year-old man. I think I helped invent them. I'm not sure. But I like movies like that too because, I mean, it's a pure story.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't lean on, okay, we got these effects. We got this happening. You know, it leans on the story and the people in it.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really hard to do.
Yeah. And I understand, and well, maybe I don't understand why the movies have so much vulgarity, but I guess that's just the mindset of people today. It's nothing to, say the F-bomb every other word. And it's like my husband and I found a show that we had been wanting to see. I won't mention the name of it because the show is, the storyline, the location, everything about it is incredible. But doggone it, every other word was a dirty word.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, how does this help the storyline?
Yeah.
What, isn't there another adjective that could be used? I understand that that people talk that way, but does it have to be just absolutely, saturated with it?
Yeah.
And
use
it
it for
really
punctuation.
Yeah, and we decided, as much as we wanted to see the whole series because it looked really good, we just weren't. We were tired of the language, and we just decided, no, I'm not going to watch it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sad because I mean this is a great show.
Yeah.
Great show, and I'm just not interested in hearing the vulgarity. Where it gets to a point where, oh, come on, you guys. Come on.
Yeah. Well, you know
and
what?
I think what's
Oh, go ahead.
And I think what's even worse is when they have children and women.
Mm-hmm.
cussing. It's just so, I don't know. I kind of just, I don't like it.
I understand. I do stand up, and my show, I don't tell dirty jokes in my show, but, I have some language in there. I don't use it for punctuation, but if it comes up, it comes out with me. After my strokes, I kind of lost my filters. And I have a good friend who invited me to a show last year called The Funniest Docs in the South. And I was the only one on stage that was not a doctor. But I told him I'm a ditch doctor. And his name's Josh Harris. He's such a funny comedian and such a great guy. He's a born-again Christian, and he's very, very, very clean. And he asked me, he said, can you please write a clean show? I'm like, yeah, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
And we sat down for rehearsal, kind of like a table read, but we were all just going over what we had. And I think the only word I had in mind was crap. And he's like, can you please find a different word for that? I'm like, yeah.
So what did you wind up using?
I think I used mess. I can't remember, but it was one of the best shows that I've done. It was most challenging to write, but I had so much fun with it. Because I wasn't leaning on, okay, we're losing them, let's drop this bomb here and let's do this. And it was just pure me, and I loved it. And I'll always thank Josh for that show because it taught me a lesson.
That is so neat. And you said something that just kind of clicked. It's a challenge to write a clean script because it's easy to use vulgarity.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, then you've got to think, how am I going to replace this on paper, an emotion or, anger, happiness, whatever, and it's a challenge. Like you said, it's a challenge.
Yeah, and it was so cool because that was also the first show of mine that my youngest daughter ever got to go to. First time she saw her dad on stage. And
How wonderful.
That was cool.
Yes, and she'll always remember that. And you're proud of it, and you didn't have to worry about whether you were offending anyone, and especially your old daughter.
Yeah. And
that is awesome.
That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I love Josh. He's doing a lot of great things, doing music videos, and
what is his name? Is Josh?
Josh Harris.
Harris. Okay. Can I see him like on YouTube?
Yeah, and he's also on Facebook. And he is such a great guy. He is so funny. He teaches comedians. He's got a class that he does, and he's always there. I mean, if I need to bounce an idea off somebody, I'll call Josh and say, Josh, what do you think of this? Or things like that. And he's just a great guy. I love him to pieces.
Now he's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a tough job.
It is. It's so much fun, though. I miss being on stage.
Oh, I love a good stand-up. We had one of the characters in our movie. His name is Tony Denman, and great actor, great comedian. He was wonderful in the movie, and he is just a naturally funny guy. And but that's a tough aspect of the industry is comedy, Yeah. I mean, to come up with truly funny lines, I mean, you may think it's funny, but can you get the audience to laugh?
Yeah, somebody described it best to me one time, said it's almost like magic because you're getting a room full of people to have an involuntary response, all of them the same response at the same time with just standing there and talking.
Yeah. And it kind of takes on a life of its own.
It does.
It's interesting to see comedians when they try to, or when they do drama. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it just bombs.
Yeah.
I think Steve Carroll is a great example of somebody that can do comedy and just great drama. I mean, that guy is he's unbelievable. Oh. And the same thing with Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
He can be one of the funniest persons, and he can be just a fabulous dramatic actor. I'm always in awe of people that can have multi talents, because it's not easy, you know. And I think acting is so much more. It just has so many more facets than it had years and years ago. You know, years and years ago, they got a script and they just read it and did it. But now they're doing, they have to either speak a foreign language, or they have to have, have to have an accent. They have to be physically fit to do their own stunts. I mean, you see these actors go up and down in weight. All the things that they have to do, it's definitely play acting. They definitely, that's what I always think about this, is that it's pretending to be something or someone, and you've got to be convincing.
Yeah.
And that's not that easy.
I'll tell you one that I saw that I never, I've seen him in action roles and that stuff, was Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
great comedian. Have you watched Mr. Church?
Oh, yes.
I was
Absolutely
amazed at his performance in that movie. It's probably my favorite Eddie Murphy movie of all.
He's wonderful.
Yeah.
He really is. I mean, he's a good example too of somebody that can do comedy and then turn around and do drama and just make your jaw drop.
Yeah, Mr. Church just surprised me, because I thought, okay, this guy's going to be funny. Nothing funny about that character at all, and he was just amazing.
Yeah. That is a truly talented performer that can pull that off.
Yeah.
It's amazing. A lot of, there are a lot of them that are, just are characters, and they play that type of character, but the ones that can just do about anything is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know tonight, like I said, we're going to watch For Love of Jessie, because I think it's going to be great.
I'm so glad. I hope you'll enjoy it. Yeah, and when you watch it, maybe think about, the stories I told you about, what it took to get it there, about all the wonderful people that were in it. I would like to take a minute and mention the main characters, which Randy Wayne plays the main character, Dr. Now I just went blank. I forgot his name. Anyway, his name is Luke. And Brie Blair, I don't know, do you ever watch SWAT?
Yeah.
Brie Blair, who is a regular on SWAT, she plays Jessica. And then we have the wonderful Adrienne Barbeau. She plays Catherine, Luke's mother. We have Mandala Rose. Be watching for her. She's from Australia. She will tear your heart apart. This girl can cry on a dime. And her expressions, her mannerisms are just heart-wrenching, and she's a beautiful, beautiful person. Another really great actor is Tony Denman. Tony, like I said, he also, like Blake, was a child actor. If you remember the original Fargo, he played the son of the couple.
Nice.
Well, the husband had his wife kidnapped while he was their kid.
Nice.
And he grew up to do some really incredible stuff, and he's just a fantastic actor. And then we had Kelly Kula. She is a new name, but a fantastic actress. She does great comedy. She does great drama. She's just adorable. And then a favorite for many Trekkies is Mano Intiraymi. He's in it. He's the guy you love to hate. And then I'm in it.
Nice.
Yeah, I play Nurse Michelle.
Nice.
Yeah, and we have some great people in it, and then all those wonderful extras from Wickenburg and some from California. Love every single one of them, and really want to thank them for all their hard work and for helping to make this movie so beautiful. And David C. Smith, our cinematographer, a beautiful job he did, and our producer, Randy Kalina, and our line producer, Sean Miller. These guys were just, they worked so hard. They gave their all for this movie, and I can't thank them enough. They really did a wonderful job. So that's pretty much. I just encourage the audience, if you want to be entertained and you want to see a sweet movie, For the Love of Jessie is the movie you've got to see. It's a good summer blockbuster. Well, actually, summer, winter, fall.
Yeah.
All and autumn.
It's enough of a blockbuster. It's going to take up 4 seasons.
Yes, as of July 1st, it goes international.
Nice.
So let's hope that our friends from other countries enjoy it like our friends here in the U.S. do.
Outstanding. Well, I appreciate you being on here today. Like I say, this has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Brad.
You're welcome anytime. You've got this number. All I got to do is call and say, hey, Fat Boy, I want to be on the show.